Hello, welcome to another episode of On My Mind. As always, I'm traveling. I'm actually in Europe this time. I'm on my way to the Flame Gas Conference in Amsterdam next week, which should be quite interesting because Flame is Europe's largest gas conference, and we have a lot to talk about here in Europe. Obviously, Europe is facing some severe supply disruptions with what's going on in the Middle East. But also, Europe has also passed legislation trying to limit your Russian gas, maybe eliminate Russian gas in the next few years. And there's still a lot of net zero policies hanging around that make it difficult for European companies to commit to long term offtake contracts. And this is the time of the year that European utilities like to fill up their gas storage. Gas storage is something that they fill up in the summer when gas is cheaper and less in demand, and they can pull it out in the winter when everybody needs heating. Typically, the prices are low this time of the year, so it's a good time to store. However, because of what's going on in the Middle East, this could be an expensive time to buy gas to store, and no one knows what the price is going to be in 6 months from now. There could be nothing worse than a bad business decision to buy gas for storage now, expensive gas, and in a few months see the gas price come down and actually be stuck with selling expensive gas at a loss. So that's something they want to avoid as well. Not a business that I envy people in it. It's very difficult to make these predictions, especially with all the uncertainty going on. But today's episode is something a little bit different. I want to talk a little bit about what is going on with the repricing of LNG around the world. Now, I've mentioned this a few times in the past. I think that um, the world needs to realize that LNG has a certain value and we need to stop linking it to oil. That's a perennial theme that I've come back to many times. But what I want to talk about today is actually why we still think we should discount the price of gas. Gas is its own market. Why are we still selling it at a discount to oil? Should we price at whatever the price can bear? And if that's a premium to oil, so be it. The reason this is an important topic right now is because I just read the Venture Global's second quarter 2026 report that came out 2 days ago. I encourage all of you to look at that. They make some very, very interesting statements. Venture Global claims that 84% of their gas for the rest of 2026 is contracted, and the contract average price, liquefaction price, is $4.51 per MMBTU. I want to let that sink in a minute. 4.51. This is a massive difference from what they were initially selling the gas at, contracting at a price less than $2 when Venture Global first started marketing gas 5 years ago. So the low price leader, the one that has potentially disrupted the world and forced people to rethink their price of gas to a much lower level, is now saying that their 2026 volumes, 84% of them, well, those volumes, are contracted at a liquefaction price of 4.5, let's say. If the US gas price is around 350 and it costs 50 cents to bring it to their plant, that's $4 into their plant, and they're charging another $4 for liquefaction. Plus, the if your typical formula is 115% of Henry Hub, so you add another 30 or 40 cents to that. So now you're 350 plus 50 plus 4, that's 8, plus another 30 cents, $8.30. That's FOB. Transporting that gas to Europe is another $1 to $2, so it's $10 minimum to Europe without any extra margins. And going to Asia, it's another, $4, $3 or $4, so it's $11 or $12 to Asia. So basically, Venture Global is saying that every European buyer has now got to accept the fact that we're going to look at over $10 price of gas in Europe this year. That's a big change from what we've seen in the past. And I think it's quite significant because it goes back to a theme that I've mentioned a number of times. We really need to think about the fact that capex is going up. New projects around the world, export as well as import, are costing a lot more than they did in the past. Canadian projects are not cheap. American projects have seen massive price increases. Even Venture Global projects are now well over $1,500 a ton, according to their own public reports. Other companies are also talking about capex over 1,000, if not even much higher than $1,000 a ton. If you think about it, that means a 4 million ton project will be at least $4 billion, if not 5 or 6 billion, and a $10 billion, a 10 million ton project will be 12 or 14 billion dollars, which is the price we're seeing. Someone's got to pay that price. Typically, in a project finance, the long-term offtake contracts offtake the volumes at a price that the project is economic. Otherwise, the banks would not give the loan. If the capex has gone up, the offtake price has to go up. Otherwise, the project cannot get to FID. Venture Global's announcement from 2 days ago shows that's indeed what's happening. The offtake price has gone up because Venture Global, which also signed three long-term contracts in this 2020, in the second quarter of this year, is now saying the average price is $4.50 liquefaction fee. This is really interesting because suddenly I think a lot of the higher cost projects around the world become economic, and who they made marginal in the past. People can afford FLNG, people can afford other things because the market is we're seemingly willing to pay. Now, publicly, the market is not saying that. In my discussions with people around I was in Asia last week and discussions with people everywhere else, the market is still kind of stuck on their pre-war prices. They still think they're still in the world where the Portons and the Woodmacks and everybody else told them that prices are going to crash in 2026. Or prices haven't crashed, but the market still thinks they are. So there's a lot of people out there who still think that they shouldn't pay more than $8 in Asia and maybe $6 in Europe. Well, if Venture Global's numbers are representative of the market, they are paying that, or somebody's paying that, and the rest of the world, the rest of the buyers have got to come along with the show. So the message is really LNG is being repriced. It's being repriced very quickly. And as I've said quite a number of times, and especially as I've said since the war began a few months ago, is that this war could actually be a catalyst for that new repricing to happen. So what we could be seeing is finally the oil and gas markets doing their own thing, and a realization that costs have gone up to build the projects, to liquefy the gas, shipping costs, steel costs, interest rates, labor in America, tariff uncertainty in America, and everything else. Someone's got to pay for it. If the world wants incremental supply of gas, the world's got to pay the incremental price for that new supply. And that incremental price is, whether we like it or not, a lot higher than the legacy prices used to be. So that's my very quick message in this video. Hope that's interesting to everyone. Um, Also, I encourage all of you to download my app, the app that I've just created called Gas Units by Gulfstream LNG. It converts 95 gas units, volume, rates, and prices. It's on the Apple iPhone store, iOS store, App Store. It's also going to be on Google in a few weeks. It's completely free. There is no ads. There's nothing. It's purely a public service that I've done. I hope you all download the app. The initial feedback has been incredibly positive. You can also see it on our website, gulfstreamlng.com/gas units. So do get the app. Let me know how you feel. Leave reviews. But this is the app that we've all been waiting for. The app that can finally convert all the gas units very easily on your fingertips, offline as well. I hope you guys get the app, and I hope you continue watching these videos. Thanks.